GTR has a commitment to diversity, and through our Real Estate for All Alliance, also known as REFA, REFA is a diversity partnership between Greater Tampa Realtors and the 6 real estate specialty groups in the Tampa Bay area. GTR formed REFA to celebrate diversity and equal representation for homeowners from all backgrounds. Together, REFA represents strength in diversity, unity, and real estate professionalism. Through REFA, we provide an even greater voice for these organizations in the area to promote fair and equitable housing for all. We are happy to partner with REFA's partners, beginning with our guests, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, the Asian Real Estate Association of America, LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance, the National Association of Gay and Lesbian Real Estate Professionals, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, and the Women's Council of Realtors. We look forward to hosting more of these enlightening conversations with other REFA partners to help us learn and grow as individuals and become even more successful as realtors. I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this event, GTE Financial. Here is CD Thornton to welcome you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for allowing me time to speak here before you guys get going on your meeting here. I just wanted to kind of touch base about GTE and let you guys know what we're about. GTE is a local credit union. We've been around since 1935. If you're doing the math on that, that's over 85 years right now. We are definitely a staple in the community, and we do quite a bit as far as the lending piece, as far as mortgages go for our membership. One of the cool things that we do have is we have a true zero down product. So what we found is that people were having problems saving money with rent prices going up and being able to put money away. So they had good credit, they had good job time, they had good income, but they were having a problem saving money for that actual down payment and for the closing costs and for the prepaid. So we actually have a program that allows you to finance the entire loan, including the down payment, closing costs, and prepaids. It's a great product. Not everyone will qualify for it. It's definitely not designed for people who have credit that is challenged, but if it is for, we found that millennials were having a hard time with that especially. So that's kind of what it's targeted towards. We also have a regular zero down product that allows you to finance 100% of the purchase price, and then you get to bring the prepaids and closing costs separate. We'll do loans down as a general rule down to 620 credit score. We do FHA, VA, standard conventional. We also just rolled out a brand new jumbo product. It's a fixed jumbo with as little as 5% down. Goes up to 1.25 million. We have some pretty cool communication pieces that are set up in the background where as the loan is conditionally approved, an email goes out to the realtor letting them know that the loan has been conditionally approved and to please get with the borrower to get that conditional approval letter. We also have one that goes out at cleared to close to both the seller's realtor and the borrower's realtor, letting them know that the loan has been cleared to close. So that's kind of a cool piece, so you don't have to kind of track down and try to figure out what's happening there. As a credit union, we're not like what you probably remember back in the day of a credit union being where only someone who worked at a certain place could join. We are open membership, which basically means that pretty much anyone can join GTE Financial. There's a $5 that goes into their member owner share, which is their ownership of the credit union. As a credit union, we're a cooperative, so every member has a small piece ownership in the credit union, and that's how someone would be able to join. I have 14 loan officers, 4 of which are Spanish speaking. So if you do have some bilingual clientele out there that speaks Spanish, we're able to do the entire process through Spanish because my loan officers are Spanish. We also have 2 bilingual processors as well. So they would be able to communicate in Spanish with my team. And other than that, we've been here to support everyone through the beginning of COVID all the way through. We have not stopped lending. We've not changed our products in any way. We have been out there for our membership to try to get into homes. So we appreciate partnering with you guys and really look forward to doing business with you in the future. Thank you.
CD, we thank you and we thank GTE Financial as well. We truly appreciate the support of our wonderful affiliates. Finally, it is my pleasure to introduce the moderator of today's conversation, our very own President-elect, Ruth Bryson. Ruth has made great achievements in her life, and one of them is becoming GTR's first African-American female president-elect. And I am so excited to have her by my side. Ruth joined Greater Tampa Realtors, GTR, in 2001 after serving over 23 years in the U.S. Army, where she achieved the rank of lieutenant colonel. She is a seasoned leader with the ability to quickly adapt to changes and make sound decisions under the most trying circumstances. She worked as a realtor with a large brokerage until 2012, when Ruth established Bryson International Realty LLC. Ruth served and continues to serve at the local, state, and national levels, currently serving as the 2021 president-elect for Greater Tampa Realtors. She served as the 2020 vice president, the 2019 secretary, and as a director in 2017 and 18. A Florida Realtors director since 2017, and Ruth was appointed by not only one, but three National Association of Realtor Presidents to serve as the president liaison to El Salvador, currently serving on NAR's Global Business and Alliance Committees, as well as on the board of directors. Ruth is a strong believer in the value of education. She is a graduate of Florida Realtors 2017 Leadership Academy, earned a Bachelor's of Science degree from Jacksonville State University, Jacksonville, Alabama, and a Master of Business Admin from Golden Gate University, San Fran, California. Her designations and certifications include CIPS, CRS, GRI, SRES, RSPS, and AHWD. Sorry about that. I got a little tongue-tied. Ruth is amazing. I am so excited to have you meet Ruth Bryson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to serve as a panelist for Overcoming the Past to Celebrate the Future. We will explore the challenges that have plagued fair housing and home buyer equity. We will learn about the gains, the setbacks, and solutions and resources to help us move forward. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our esteemed panelist, Travis Brooks. Travis began his real estate career by joining Keller Williams Realty from 2005 to 2013. Although he enjoyed his tenure there, he always knew that someday he wanted to open his own brokerage firm. In the fall of 2013, that dream became a reality. Thus, Brooks Realty Group LLC was created. Travis attended the University of South Florida as a member of the inaugural football team in 1996. Although his injuries ended his football career, his experience at South Florida gave him the drive, determination, and leadership needed to succeed. Travis and the Brooks Realty Group team take great pride in providing their clients with exceptional customer service and creating personal relationships with their clients. He strives to constantly educate himself on the ever-changing real estate market to ensure he is able to deliver the most accurate and up-to-date information to his clients and agents. Travis was introduced to NARAB and the Bay Area Association of Realists in 2013 and immediately drawn to their mission of democracy in housing and their passion to educate the African American community on the importance to home ownership. Travis currently serves as the local chapter president and on the national board of directors. Welcome, Travis.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you doing, Ms. Ruth?
Oh, marvelous is the word today. We all got up.
Yes, ma'am. After hearing your bio, I need to get a little more work done.
All things in due time. Travis, please share with us a brief history of NARAB.
Oh, absolutely. Ironically, NARAB was founded right here in Tampa, Florida, July 29th of 1947. At that time, you had 12 founding members from different places in the country that decided that we needed to do something about not being able to sell real estate in certain areas, not having the opportunities as our white counterparts. So they converged in July in Tampa, Florida, and founded the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We are currently the oldest African American trade association, and our motto is simple, as you alluded in my biography, of democracy in housing. The purpose: we're here to enhance the economic opportunities for all African American members in the real estate industry, not just agents, but we need appraisers, mortgage professionals, everything that can do with real estate. We're here to uplift them. We're here to be an advocate for the minority real estate professionals and the consumers and the communities that we serve. Now, it wasn't until 1964 that Ben Slayton became the first African American to be part of the NAR board. So when you hear us say the name realtist, we all know that even till this day, without the NAR designation, you're not considered a realtor. So in 1947, they wouldn't allow us to become part of any NAR organization. So we created what we consider now to say realtist when we refer to our NARAB members. But like everything else, barriers had to be broken. So we appreciate Ben Slayton for what he did in 1964. We're a national organization with chapters across this country with a focus to advocate and to educate.
Thank you, Travis. Along those lines, what do you think were the contributing factors that kept Blacks from becoming homeowners?
If we have more time, but aside from the obvious, you have the obvious of the racial inequality and discrimination that plagued this country for centuries. When it comes to this country's contribution to deliberately, in my opinion, hinder Blacks from becoming homeowners, I particularly attribute that to the laws and the policies that was put in place to intentionally keep African Americans from purchasing properties. In my opinion, one of the most detrimental and hurtful policies and laws that stifled our progress derived out of the New Deal of 1933. Most of us would know in 1933, we're in the middle of a Great Depression. So similar to what we're in now, there were a stimulus package that needed to be done. So the president at the time, Roosevelt, created what considered to be a New Deal. It was a great product. It created the 30-year mortgage. It gave everybody an opportunity to get a fixed interest rate at a lower rate than it was before. And we know that home ownership is what's going to take to boost the economy. The difference is when the New Deal came out, 98%, within a 5-year period, 98% of all those new loans went to white America. So that left the Black American on the outside looking in. Out of the New Deal in 1934 derived the FHA, Federal Housing Administration, the National Housing Act, and the Homeowners Loan Corp. Now, for those that may not know, the Homeowners Loan Corp was an organization hired by lenders, and their primary goal, we want you to go and create a map to show us the best areas to lend and the best lending opportunities for us. So what they did was they created a map. Green was the best area. That was our businessman. Blue was pretty decent. That was the working class, blue collar workers. Yellow were the declining areas in this country, but there still was some major opportunities we can take advantage of. And then we come to the red area, which we all know is considered redlining. You know, redlining was the poor areas, the heavily Negro populated areas. they consider those areas high risk and non-insurable. So out of the FHA, if you ever get an opportunity, I would encourage everyone to read the FHA underwriting manual that they created in 1934. And it really, really highlights how we got into the situation we're in now. They specifically said that incompatible racial groups should not be permitted to live together. So at that time, African Americans, we were considered inharmonious groups. They also recommended that highways be placed to separate the neighborhoods. Now that wasn't law, but because it came so highly recommended, it felt like the right thing to do in order to make sure your property value stayed and our property value didn't rise. Now, again, this is my personal opinion, that 2 year between 1933 and 1934, the policies created at that time created of somewhat and almost an insurmountable mountain for us to overcome. And it wasn't until 1968 when they passed the Fair Housing Act that they outlawed redlining and housing discrimination. But by that time, we had suffered over 30 plus years of racial inequality, housing disparity, housing discrimination. And it's no secret that home ownership is one of the key components to creating wealth in this country. So it's no surprise. It's absolutely no surprise that the racial wealth gap between Blacks and whites are so wide. We were stifled in the ability to purchase homes, to purchase land, and that's why we're still suffering that today.
Travis, that is the most comprehensive explanation I have heard on redlining. When you do fair housing, yes, they always talk about redlining, steering, but I've never realized the history behind and the different codes, because the only number we get, the only color we get is redlining.
Right. Absolutely.
Awesome. To piggyback on that, in 2021, the Black home ownership rate is 47%. Why are we still so far behind our counterparts?
Well, actually, the third quarter of 2020, that's when we reached 47%. I actually just did some research, and the fourth quarter of 2020, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, we dropped to 44%. I mean, that's no big surprise because we were in a pandemic year. So if you look through all racial groups, everybody dropped a couple percentages. But we're still dealing with the same issues in 2021 because of the laws that I mentioned earlier, the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which outlawed redlining, and the CRA Act of 1977. That was created so that the local banks would create programs to serve the communities that they're in. Those laws were never enforced. Never enforced. So the home ownership rate when the fair housing was passed was 42%. We peaked in 2004 at around 49.7%. And as I just stated, right now we're at 44%. So most people couldn't understand, like, why would you peak at 49 and then you start declining? If anybody look at what happened in 2004, which was a big housing boom, but it also created the subprime market, the non-conventional products that emerged out of the 2004 housing boom. Most of those products look real good on surface. They look real good on surface, but it created what we now know as predatory lending. And just by sheer definition, predatory lending is any practice of a lender that imposes unfair and abusive loan terms on borrowers, including high interest rates, high fees, and terms that strip the borrower of equity. So that's what majority of our loans that was given to the African Americans in that housing boom were more of the subprime and non-conventional products. So once we went through the housing crisis in 2008, we suffered the most. We suffered the most because we had more of the bad loans, more of the bad mortgage products than any other group. So it's no secret that's why it's taken us so long to recover. If we fast forward, and if you ever get an opportunity to read the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, even recently as 2019, it gives you averages. The average credit score for Black borrowers around 626. The average credit score for our white borrowers around 751. In 2019, our interest rates averaged about 552, and our non-Hispanic white counterparts is at 483. DTI wise, majority of our money is spent trying to pay creditors back. So we have a higher DTI rate than our non-Hispanic whites because we have to spend more of our money paying creditors. Thus, I'm not upset that we created the FHA program to give us an opportunity to have a 3.5% down payment, because traditionally they were doing 20% down. But what that does, it gives us an opportunity to pay higher mortgage insurance. It gives us a lot longer to pay off the loan, and we create equity at a slower rate. 60% of everybody's net worth is attributed to the home equity, the equity that they have in their home. So if you don't own a home, your net worth is going to be a lot lower. That's why I mentioned the racial wealth gap previously. I think for right now, in 2018, the wealth gap is we make about 10% of the average white family's wealth gap. So for every $10 that comes in our household, $100 comes in their household. And as long as we continue on that path, we're going to have a uphill battle to fight. So if we don't attack the lending practices that plagued us for so long, the same issues we saw in 1933, 68, will still continue, and it's still continuing right now in 2021, we're going to see in the future.
You are so right. Homeownership is the pathway for growing wealth. And if we don't fix the lending issues and the unequal treatment on the part of people who hold the gateway to real estate, it's going to be very difficult to bridge that gap. Along the following up is what measures, we've talked about the challenges. What measures do you believe need to be put in place in order for the homeownership rate of Blacks to increase?
I think my word for the year 2020 was intentional. Okay, so they intentionally put policies in place to hinder African Americans. So they also need to be intentional about putting policies in place to help African Americans become homeowners. If anybody go to narab.com and take a look at the State of Housing of Black America report that we put out every year, we have about 30 to 40 detailed plans put in place that will help increase the homeownership rate. And I'll just touch on a few of them. One, the CRA Act that we talked about earlier, that needs to be completely revised. The CRA Act needs to be completely revised and enforced. So if you know we have the lower credit scores, you know we have the lower income, we cannot be held to the same standards that you're holding our counterparts. And if you are created to devise plans for that community, hold them accountable. Hold them accountable, make sure they devise the plans that serve the Black communities in ways that it doesn't exacerbate gentrification and segregation. We also got a plan in place. We want to issue an executive order to prioritize Black homeownership as a policy goal. Together, everyone achieves more. We have to make sure that the homeownership rate for African Americans is a policy on the national level. Right now, there's on the Congress floor, there's American Dream Act that we're trying to get them to pass. It's like a 529 plan. It's a bill that will create tax advantage plans designed for down payment savings. Because our income is a lot lower than our counterparts, one of our biggest issues is saving for the down payment. So sort of like a 529 plan that you do for your kids to save for college, if we can get the American Dream Down Payment Act passed, you'll be able to have savings for a down payment on a property. And that money will just be for a purchase in a home. I think that's going to be pivotal if we can get that passed. We also been asking them to reduce the mortgage insurance for FHA borrowers. We're the highest that's borrowing FHA non-conventional loans, the FHA loans, the VA loans, the government insured loans. We're taking those at 60% of our loans are the FHA loans. So let's reduce the mortgage insurance that allows our mortgage payment every month to be a little bit lower, and we can have a little higher buying power. And for me, this is my most important. Everybody can put it in the order they want to, but we need to increase diversity in the real estate and mortgage industry, especially in senior leadership, and encourage minority business utilization. I think when it comes to the mortgage or lending industry, if anyone is on this call, African Americans or minorities are probably less than 2 to 3% of the entire mortgage industry. That's why our loans are being denied at a 60% larger rate than our non-Hispanic white counterparts. If anybody remember the Wells Fargo CEO, when he made a statement, he said, while it might sound like an excuse, the unfortunate reality is that there is a very limited pool of Black talent to recruit from. I took that as a personal insult. I don't think we lack Black talent in any area in this country, especially in the financial industry. Now, and also when you look at not just the mortgage industry, even the real estate industry, African Americans make up about 6% of the entire real estate agents in this country. Whites make up 74.6% of the real estate agents. We have got to increase the diversity in the real estate industry, period. One of the programs that NARAB have just came out with, I'm so excited about, we've partnered with Homelight and what they call the Black Real Estate Agent Program. It's an opportunity to recruit more African Americans, and they get up to a $5,000 benefit to pay for your schooling, your education, and also provides you with a year-long mentor with a NARAB broker. So policies like that, programs like that, that's going to be intentional about highlighting and bringing more diversity into the real estate industry is going to be pivotal in us coming out of this hole that we're in. So if you're a mortgage professional, if you're a lender, if you're a bank, you need to make sure you are intentional about finding diverse talent in your industry.
Thank you. At this time, we want to leave some time for you to ask questions before I share some resources for you to do better if you so desire. So are there any questions for us at this time?
Ruth, I don't see any questions at this moment.
Okay. I want to share two resources.
I'm sorry, Ruth, we just had one pop in.
Excuse me?
We just had a question pop in. Let's see here. With that program, don't you have to be a certain age? And I'm not sure which program that they are referring to.
They're probably talking about the Homelight program if they want to receive the $5,000 benefits to become a real estate agent. Yes, that age is between 18 and 35.
Okay. And another question here is, how do you join NARAB?
That's the best question of the day. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, you just go to narabtampa.org to our website and you can sign up right there. No matter where you are, you can go to narab.com, our national website, look up the area that you're in, locate the local board, contact them, and they'll give you all the information to join the NARAB organization.
Excellent. Let's see, there's another question. When and where does NARAB meet?
Well, pre-COVID, we met the second Thursday of every month at 10:30 a.m. at the Robert Saunders Library. Of course, like everyone else, we had to take a pivot, so we've been meeting by Zoom. We are fortunate enough that this year, one of our partners, Domain Homes, have allowed us to use their outdoor space because, like most people, we're getting tired of Zoom. We're people persons. We're real estate professionals. We like to, have conversations. So we'll be meeting at the Domain Homes site moving forward. If the weather don't permit, we'll go ahead and get the information out to you, and we'll go by Zoom. But it'll be the second Thursday of every month.
Thank you. I'll turn it back over to you right now, Ruth.
Okay, I have two resources for you along this line. Our president, NAR president, Charles Opler, he issued a fair housing challenge / stand up for racial equity. I will ask Joey to put the link for .realtor. If you want to be empowered, if you want to stand up for diverse, inclusive communities, you should go on and take that challenge. Right now, he's challenged all leaders and committee chairs, NAR directors. But if you're a realtor, you should know Fair Housing Challenge, and you should take the Fair Haven Fair Housing Simulation Challenge. Number two, If you want to know what not to do in terms of fair housing as a realtor, you really need to look at the new state special investigation expose on housing discrimination in Long Island. It will show you what we should not be doing, and then you can go back and do the Fair Haven simulation so that we can be better, we can move forward, and that we can make, when one group is not doing well, it holds the rest of us back. So we, as realtors, are the gatekeepers. We need to make sure that there's diversity and equity in housing and everything for all. That concludes my 2 cents. Ellie?
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Travis. We thank you all for joining this conversation today, and a special thanks to GTE Financial for being our sponsor today. We look forward to future conversations in partnership with our REFA partners. Have a great day all, and stay well.